Everybody wants to fish dry flies during the Drake catch. You ever swung a soft hackle? You need to.
Dude, that's a big brown.
This Green Drake pattern is pretty cool. It's a soft hackle that can be fished either swinging it, you can fish it dead drifted, and it even has enough CDC you could probably gink it up and float it. Not gink, powder I meant. Anyway, I'll show you how to do it. We've got some black thread. Just use whatever flavor you like. I think this is like Uni A-Dot. And I'm going to put a black tail on this. You know, just I'm going to use some pheasant tail fibers. I don't know, 6 to 10 of them. And I'm going to tie them in about like that. I'm just wanting that to create kind of a longer profile in the water because, you know, there's a lot going on those drakes. Lift it up and pull it forward, and I'll just wrap back now. And that makes it so that there are even bumps on this. There's not like a big bump in the back where you tie everything in. So I like to tie in the back, wrap it forward, and we'll do the same thing with wire and a biot. So this will be a biot body, but we want to reinforce it with a little bit of wire, and it also gives it a cool little effect that I'll show you. So I'm going to tie in some just brownish wire. I think this is March Brown from Semperfli. And I'm going to tie the biot on the side of the hook that's closest to me. So I'm going to take this wire and I'll just tie it in here on the other side. Sometimes that can make it so you're not tying too many things down at the back of the fly on one side. It makes it look kind of weird. Anyway, I have a turkey biot. It's just like a light olive. I typically like a drake that is, a little bit more, lighter green. All right, so biots, if you tie them in this way, it's going to be different from this way. So the way I do it is I always pull it off the hide or the feather, and this little jobber right there, let's see, geez, sausage fingers. So I'm gonna have to hold it upside down. So this little notch right here, if you tie that with the notch down like this, the ridges will be up. And if you tie it notch up, it's gonna be a smooth body. So keep that in mind. I'll just tie that in up here. I'm tying it in notch down. Do you know what? Sometimes on these biots, they're thin enough, I'm actually going to move it back. It gives me a little bit more workable biot to work with. So we'll throw it in about halfway up the body. So after that big lecture about even body, I broke my own rules, but look, it works. All right, we're going to put a little bit of super glue on this. You really don't need a ton. It just kind of keeps it in place. And then I like to just wrap this with my fingers and the rotary feature on my vise. If you have the CNF hackle pliers, I think they're the best for biots. But this allows me to keep a really good eye on the angle of that biot. And I'll just wrap that all the way forward. Okay, I'm going to try to show you what it looks like here. So I just have the very tip of that, and I can just take my thread back and catch him down with one kind of loose wrap, and then I'm going to cinch everything down about right here. Okay, so we're going to cover all that nastiness up with thread right here, so don't worry about that. And then we're just going to run this wire, let's see, right along the edge of the rib. Let's see, don't cover it up, just kind of kiss it up against there. So you can see how that turned out. Looks really, really cool. Adds a little bit of durability, and it darkens up this lighter colored biot. So I'm going to just tie that down, bend the wire against where it went last, couple helicopters, and you got a real clean tie off. Okay, this part we're going to add some CDC. So I have like an olive-ish piece of CDC. It's a really nice piece. So it's like this. And those feathers are maybe a little bit too long for what I want to do. So what I can come in here is I can pretend like I'm a barber and just kind of come in here and cut some of the tips down and make them jagged on both sides. I should cut hair, Brig. Would you let me cut your hair?
No, not a chance.
Okay. I bet someone in the comments, let me know if you'd let me cut your hair. I would let me cut my hair. All right, so I'm going to take this hairline feather prepper and we're going to place this down into the feather prepper like this. Okay. I'll just cut off the edges. And now, with this clamp, you guys see me use the Swiss CDC one. Well, guess what? This might be the best one you've never seen because I can just grab the CDC out of there, boom, trim it off, and it's really easy to put it in the loop. There are a lot of these clamps out there, but Hairline had them bent. See this bend right here that's right by the hook shank? That bend allows me to put this loop in this dubbing loop while holding the tool out at an angle. It's very well thought out by Mr. Marcos over there at Hairline. All right, so I'm going to make a short loop, close it off, and wrap my thread to about halfway up to the eye. And dang it, Brigham. I always leave my top twister. Grab that. I have 2 CNF ones on my desk. This hippie chick's like, dude, check out that fly. The fly is so sick. Look at that fly. I'm so hardcore, I want an energy drink bottle, but look at the fly. It's so sick. Oh, hey, Brig, what's up? Thank you, sir. All right, grab your favorite twister. We're going to put this CDC ball of goodness into this loop. And see how they're not all even. I can grab my finger and adjust them. I want these to be kind of as long as possible, but don't pull them so hard they fall out. That's a pretty good length. I'll hold it like that while we twist it. Maybe you see something cool. Oh yeah, check it out. Look at that. So there's our CDC loop. I'm just going to wrap here. And some of them will trap down. That's not a big deal. You can, preen them back as you wrap. But you want to leave enough room in the front for a soft hackle. Okay, CDC on a wet fly or a soft hackle helps it move so much. So, what do you do with a fly that already moves well? You add something else that moves called partridge. So we're going to wrap a soft hackle around here, and that kind of corrals the CDC a little bit. It kind of encapsulates it. Looks really, really cool. I have a partridge feather. This is dyed olive, and we've got a bunch of these full pelts right now as of March 2024. But anyway, it's kind of harder to come by dyed partridge on the full pelt because they're greasy, nasty birds to work with. Anyway, I'm just going to find the tip of this. I got these little tweezers. You can grab the tip, and that way my big sausage fingers don't screw anything up. So I've got it about like that, and I'm just going to take that and pre-cut it so I have a tiny little tab right there. So this tab, we're just going to shove him down right there on the head. Make sure this is tied in pretty tight. Now, when you explain a fly and you're trying to do this all at the same time, it's very possible I'm going to break this. And I will swear, and Brig will beep it out, but everything's going to be all right because I'll be able to do another one. Another thing I'm going to do that I typically don't is I'm going to throw a whip on this real quick just so we don't have any unravelly issues. But sometimes when I get talking, I move the fly in a bunch of different ways. Okay, so I'm going to get a hackle plier and I'm going to attach that back here. This is just a plunger style hackle plier from Stomfo with a hoop big enough for my fingers. All right, so I'm just going to clip that on, and I'm going to fold these back with my fingers as I wrap. And this is like, the first few turns are the most treacherous because you're dealing with really thin feather up there. So just keep preening it till about right there. And I'm just going to sweep my thread underneath and catch that off right there. Okay, that's a pretty thick stem. I could do the breaky technique, but I'll probably just cut it. I'm going to fold everything back now. I have it upside down because I just want to see where that stem ends up. I don't know, maybe we can see. Grab him. Oh, come on. Third time's a charm. 1, 2, 3. Nope, gotta cut it. Man, you are one determined little game bird. All right, frig off, you're out. Okay, now we're just gonna clean that up a little bit. You know, wet flies typically will have a nice built up head, and we could put resin on this and make it real super purty. We'll just throw a whip finish on this real quick. And now we can kind of come in here and give the feathers a little bit of a brush, just to kind of, if there are any of them that are trapped from that dubbing loop, we're going to want to get them out of there. And then we'll just brush them right back, and then we'll kind of see what that's going to look like as it's going through the water. But as you can see, it's really super buggy. It's got all the drakey colors. You can dead drift it, swing it, or grease it and float on top.